Yo, Round the EcomiVerse episode 63. We got Bill Gardner in the house. Woo! Queen VeVe and Doctor of Stuff.
Let's go.
It's exciting. This is going to be a really good show. Crypto Rain's coming along a little bit later on too. He's stuck in a call right now. But yeah, I'm really excited to have Bill on today.
Yes.
So Bill, can you introduce yourself? I think pretty much everyone knows you from in the comments, but
yeah, I'm the little chatter that jumps in everywhere and has something to say. And mainly, I was focused in real estate mainly over the years, and then I started following this guy named Randy into Earth too, and I just was like, this guy is so funny. But then the more I started looking into things, I bought a little bit at first, and then from Randy, I jumped from Earth 2 to VeVe.
That's awesome. That's right. You were in Earth 2 before VeVe. So that was from Randy still? Because Randy talked about Earth 2?
Well, I didn't get into Earth 2 because of Randy. A business partner of mine, we had a construction company together. We since split our own ways, but we were on a project and he was like, "Che, you got to check out this digital land." I'm like, "Digital land?" He's like, "Yeah, you can rent it out to people." And me being a landlord, I'm like, "Okay." And I just bought it right then. I'm like, I don't need to hear anything else. And because I knew, I've listened to where they want to take society over the years and how they want everyone to be digital and, own nothing but love it. And so I'm like, well, I got to at least ride that wave up and eventually sell some of those things for real things like land and real estate and, cash flow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so I know you're into investing in condos. Also, hey, Rain. Hey, how you going, Rain?
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
What's up, Rain?
Awesome.
What's up,
Bill Gardner? Good to meet you.
I'm still waiting for Rain to follow me on X.
Do I not follow you on X? I will remedy that right away.
I can't get him to do it.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
I don't know. You're really, you're really controversial, Bill.
Yeah, Bill's such a VeVe fodder, right?
You believe in that Omi? What is that Omi project? That VeVe thing? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I just don't know if that's a scam.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I started off in Earth 2, and I bought almost 1,400 properties. I'm up to now, and I have thousands of side droids that mine the land for me. You can you create people that work on your land for you as well, and you can trade them eventually. At some point in time, they level up and they're basically like virtual slaves, which is kind of ridiculous, but whatever. And you gain crypto from the property too. So I was like, wow. And then I heard of this thing called VeVe, like Rain was suggesting. And when Randy was first talking about it, he was like, you're going to be able to own digital land in this as well. And I'm like, wow, they got all the IP and I can own digital land. I'm like, I got to buy a plot next to Disney. Don't get me wrong. I don't even really like Disney that much, but everyone likes Disney, right? As far as like the old movies, basically, the nostalgia of it. And the newer movies, they need to figure something out. But, so I bought into that. And then I started, Earth 2 was getting attacked by scam tubers. And it seemed like it was a coordinated attack, just like what came to VeVe. And it came all at once with subscribers, with hundreds of thousands of people that viewed it. And they attacked and said it was a scam. And so I started putting more money into VeVe because they were busy battling that. And then now I own a substantial amount in both. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And so in real life, you said you like condos as your investment vehicle?
Yeah. And so I've always been in construction. And in my younger days, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Frank Lloyd Wright, but I was in auto body and I refinished, jumped from custom cars. We used to rebuild them from the ground up. And then I started working on a house, and it was a Frank Lloyd Wright house. It took me 3 years. and it was in like 7 major magazines. And I was
it Falling Water?
Woo, that's
it wasn't Falling Water. It was one in Willoughby, Ohio.
Okay, that's real close to me.
Yeah, it was custom. I was actually right by Falling Water on that what's that 84 Lumber Guy's property out by Falling Water. He owns like a couple thousand acres, and you can go there, and it's a recreation of Lafayette's home in I think France. And it's an amazing property. Anyways, I was out by Falling Water. I didn't get to check it out though.
It's really cool.
Yeah. But so from there, I had a construction company, and it was when the down market, I lost everything. I had rental properties then in 2008, 2009.
Ooh,
and
rough.
I went to work in a factory, and it was hard labor. You know, I cut 20 pounds. I was lifting like 15,000 pounds a day, making $200 a week. But you can't feed a family on that. So I went into construction like 15 years ago, and I figured if I could just work one day, then I can make the same amount of money in a day as I could working in a factory all week. And so that's how I got started. And then it really kind of blew up from there. And I bought this house across the street from me. I was living in a condo renting, and I bought it for $20,000, and I had to sign a death waiver to enter the property.
What?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I knew everything about construction.
Those are the best.
That was the best deal.
That's a fixer-upper.
Yeah.
So, funny story. So you guys want to hear funny? So
Story.
a buddy of mine's a realtor. So of course we're checking out this house in the middle of the night at like 11 o'clock. It's pouring rain, and we're looking through the house. It looked like a hoarder lived there, and all of a sudden we're scratching our legs, and we're covered in fleas. So we run out of the house, and he's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "It's amazing. We're gonna gut it, and we're gonna make this a home." And so I show up in my wife's driveway, and I'm knocking on the door, and I'm in my boxers, soaking wet. And I'm like, "Quick, open the door, get the dryer. I'm covered in fleas." And she's like, "What the hell is going on?" And I'm like, "I just found a home. We're going to move in like 6 months." So we ended up gutting it. I think we put like 30 into it at the time, and moved in 6 months. Then we used that. We leveraged that house, and we started buying condos for like 20, 30,000. And then we started fixing those up cash. And then we had the renters pay off the equity line. So we just kept stacking them one after another.
So that was after the 2008 housing crash where
Yeah.
everything was pretty cheap, right? You could buy
Well,
something.
actually I started picking up those condos 7 years ago.
Oh, okay. Not that long ago. Yeah.
It was a little while after. And so now those same condos are worth over 100,000
Awesome.
each, and they're all paid off. And
Yeah, nice.
so
It's awesome.
yeah, we just have cash flow coming in, and I still work. I still do construction, and I do a lot of high-end homes, and really been blessed, man. It's been a total blessing on my life.
And now your cash flow just goes into OMI.
Yeah, I have so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm not floating on millions of liquidity, but yeah, like every day I invest, so because I don't have any bills.
It's awesome. That's where I want to be by the end of this year. That would be awesome.
Yeah, the only thing I think I pay for is I just paid off my 2022 Subaru, and I don't even have a payment on that anymore. So
Wicked.
I
Is that
have
a
I
WRX?
have a phone payment.
Is that a WRX?
No, I got a Sport Edition Crosstrek for work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I love Subaru. I used to have a WRX. They're really fun cars.
Yeah, I can't fit anything in it though. So now I just kind of run crews. I used to do a lot of the construction myself back in the day. But like last year, we did Jim Haslam's house. We did the Jacobs Field owner who owned Jacobs Field. It's not Jacobs Field anymore. I think it's Progressive Field. We did a couple Brown, Jack Conklin of the Browns. So we got a lot of high clientele, and it's nice. It's a blessing.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Thanks for sharing your story with us. Like that's a really It's a really exciting story, and it's funny how you went from like real construction to like buying virtual land. It's I could see like that is appealing, right, to
Yeah.
people that are already into property. It makes sense.
Yeah. So I started off reading Robert Kiyosaki when I was probably 21. It just changed my life. I couldn't apply it the correct way though. The first time I tried it, I lost everything because I was buying at the top of a market, not making any money. And then when everything fell apart, I was selling construction equipment worldwide, and a lot of the countries that bought off me, they were toppling over. So I went out of business as well, lost everything.
Yeah, Robert's been a big influence for me as well. I saw him live once, and he's very, very intense.
Yeah,
like his book is amazing, but then when you actually like see him live and his energy and how he carries himself, he's a very intense guy, and like he does not mince words, and like I think I've probably mentioned it before in here, but he like basically kicks someone out of the show. Like he's like, you be quiet, you listen. Like it was crazy, but it was absolutely amazing, very inspiring, and I love that book.
I used to be
definitely opened my eyes.
I used to be a prepper back in the day. I used to listen to Alex Jones every day, and
it's
the end of the world, But then I realized like you got to kind of just live that lifestyle, Yeah. They never make a collapse movie about the Amish, because it wouldn't be interesting. They already don't have lights,
But they already don't have lights.
They're like, whatever, we got a horse, So I was like, I'm not going to sit around and wait for things to end. We got to do something, the world's not going to get any better if we don't do something about it.
I want to live sustainably as well. Like that's literally our long-term plan is to have a few acres and grow a lot of our food and have solar, rain takes, all that. So do you do that already?
Yeah, I have an aquaponics greenhouse I built. So I have fish that feed the plant trays and things. And then we also have chickens and we garden and stuff. But I mean, we don't have to do any of that, but I like it.
Some fun. Yeah. And also there's nothing like eating fresh fruit and vegetables. Like it's different to store bought. It's different to sitting there on the shelves for weeks and weeks. Right. I just want to quickly answer this question. Rain or Doc, do you guys know about the 22 billion? I think most of it was just liquidity for Bitforex. Maybe a couple of big whales as well.
It definitely had to be like some of it had to be liquidity for Bitforex, right? To do the swapping in there. I haven't looked at all of the wallet addresses that they had, but a decent amount of that had to be from Bitforex, because otherwise, how's Bitforex could be able to allocate the tokens if they don't hold some themselves on there for that trading?
I don't know what the number breakdown is, but generally when you go on an exchange like that, they'll want like 100,000 worth of your token, 100,000 in USDT, whatever the trading pair is. So that's why people say, oh, the exchange charged me money. Well, kind of. It's like they charge them a bunch of tokens that provide liquidity. They might charge a fee on top of that, unless the exchange is so interested in it, you interested in having you, or sometimes they'll just upfront it, because they really want your token on their exchange, and they'll put up the liquidity for that rather than making you do it. That's why people often say, oh, KuCoin charges or Binance charges. That's usually a big part of what that charge is. Okay, give us 250,000 of your token, 250,000 USDT, and we're going to use that to provide the liquidity. So would it add up to even half of 22 billion? I don't know. That sounds like a whole lot of liquidity, probably more than was being provided. Possibly there were some whales. I mean, Bitforex has been around for a long time. I didn't expect them to go down. I thought most of the failures had already happened, and that the only risk was that the exchange would be hacked. And well, I don't know if it was a hack or as an inside job, they didn't get the appropriate license and they just kind of pulled the rug. It could be either of those two. I don't know which one it is, and I'm really not paying attention to it, because whatever it takes to resolve that, to me, that's like lost money, lost time. And I had 32 billion on that, or 32 million. Thank goodness, not 32 billion. 32 million. I was like, shoot, kick myself. But I can't worry about that. I have to worry about what is the best decisions going forward. And a lot of that stuff is going to sort itself out or not. But to me, I might as well write it off as a loss or a sunk cost And I did pick up like 14 million more OMI
Nice.
so far. Maybe I'll pick up more, but I'm trying not to worry about that, because what can worrying about it do?
That's
Yeah, I
right.
was like
And-
Lori. I had 2.4 million that was stuck on there because I was just keeping it on there, and I would transfer it away once it stacked to a certain amount.
Yep.
And I mean, it wasn't a lot, but I had
Yeah.
some that was stuck on
That's
there.
I mean that's a good thing. Like if you because you obviously were leaving a mental amount that if you lost on there, it's not
Yes.
gonna
Yeah.
hurt you,
Yeah.
right? And so
Yeah.
that's fine when you're doing that sort of
Yeah.
thing. But it's,
I'm heartbroken because Pepe was on there too.
oh no!
Oh, Pepe!
Oh no!
So
How much
I
Pepe
made
did you
all my
have?
money back with Pepe.
Because ironically, it was on the exchange because last time I couldn't get a 30x on my Pepe. I can only get a 15x. So the greedy thing to do was next time I'm not going to miss my 30x. I'm going to keep it on Bitforex. And I did.
Oh,
And then it
man.
would be liquid as long as the exchange doesn't go down.
And
But-
Rain, with this
Then
question,
it
is
would be
for-
liquid, right, Rain? I mean, yeah.
Dang.
So
Rain,
yeah.
Rain, this question's for you because you know
Perfect.
Bumper even better than I do.
Oh, yes. I love this project. Just did another interview with them this last week. They're absolutely phenomenal. And in fact, Jordan and Randy did an interview with them too, which I watched, and it was a phenomenal interview. There's some great alpha released in that one. So my mind's pretty heavy on them. I'm probably going to do a big over-the-counter deal with them. Hopefully, I asked for it. We'll see if they can do it to buy more. And I already have a lot. I want more. Their mainnet has gone live. Essentially, they provide downside protection like has never been able to be done before. So a lot of times you would try to hedge your downside risk using options, or even upside. You could use options to try to, like, if things went up, but they have a new way of providing downside risk that's just cheaper and more efficient. And it's come about because of smart contracts allow it to happen in a way of doing it. It's very complex. It's solving something that a solution was found for the problem 50 years ago. And it's a new solution to this that creates greater efficiency. And if they're successful at this project could go to a market cap in the billions, if not tens of billions, and the market cap sitting about 5 million. So please don't go out and buy it right now, because if you drive up the price, my OTC deal will probably be based on the current price. And I'll be like, no, you just cost me $10,000 more. So like, yeah, am I bullish on Bumper? Here's what I have it categorized. What is the likelihood that it fails between now and the bull market? I don't know, 3%, 5%. I guess if the SEC targeted them directly, maybe that could fail them. If the founders are in a plane together and it crashes, maybe that could fail them. So I always leave that there's never 0% chance it could fail. But let's just say it's low because they've got 2 years funds. So I don't see why they go out of business in the next 12 months, which is when the major bull market comes. So if they survive into the coming bull market, what could it do? Well, if it doesn't really get traction, it'll probably still do 15x. Cool. That kind of sucks compared to other options that I think will have higher upside than that. If they do get traction, it could go 100x, it could go 1000x, it could go 3000x. So that's why I really like that deal. Do I know whether it's going to go 15x or 2000x? I don't. There's just probabilities of how it might go, and I'm making my best estimation for what they are. I think my chance of losing on it is about 5% over the medium term, because I'm only going to sell it when the bull market goes absolutely crazy and people are talking about DeFi again. So that's the window I'm holding till. I don't know when that window is. I don't know if it's 3 months from now. I don't know if it's 12 months from now, but probably sometime in there. And then, so between now and then, my probability of losing money in my estimation is 5% chance I lose money on it, 95% chance I have an upside. The low end of that upside is 15x. The high end of that upside is 2,000 to 3,000x. I have no idea where in there it's going to end up.
Yeah, after Randy and I finished that interview with them, I went and doubled my holdings of Bumper because
that was a great interview. I really
we got a lot out of him. Like Randy and I both just bounced off and found different questions to ask that no one has asked before, which is awesome. I'm definitely interested to see your interview. So you just did that last week. I'll have to check that out as well.
Yeah, it was really good. And then he came on and did a private chat with our Discord, which was even better. Sometimes people say things in the private chats They're never publicly said, which is part of the reason I set up like the private Discord that you can only access if you join the Patreon. It's expensive, not really expensive. It's $20 a month, but it gives you access to that. And then I try to, whenever I do an interview, then I try to bring them on for a private chat. And sometimes in that private chat, they say things that are not public information, which is exactly why I set it up, because I knew that those kind of conversations were going on behind the scenes. When I was a new investor, I just had no idea how to access that information. So by creating a YouTube channel that's got a big enough following, as an investor, I can ask them investor-focused questions, as well as can set up private chats. So not just me gets to hear the answer to that, but all the audience. Because often when I get to hear special things, the first thing they ask me, okay, but don't tell anyone this. But when everyone in my private audience is watching it too, I haven't broken any commitments. So it's been great.
Oh my gosh, my portfolio just jumped up $7,000. This is crazy time.
Oh my God,
Nice.
so crazy.
It's 68,500. I mean, we're at like 68,500.
I know,
guys.
right? We're
We're
totally
gonna break
hit
all-time
all-time
high.
I think we're gonna hit all-time high on the stream.
I think we are. I think we will. I really
And
do.
then it's
gonna
Because even if it
retrace.
bounces, it's gonna hit that. It's gonna hit that, and then it's gonna go through it.
You think?
Quickly to this one,
Yeah,
I've got
yeah.
a lot of MK. It's now my fourth holding behind Omi, so it's.
I think it'll retrace, Rain, but I think honestly, like we just saw that 68,000. It was hitting 68,000, right, and kind of bumping off that, and then finally it's just broken through, and now it's kind of. I mean, we'll see, but man, this is it's getting.
I know.
Can I just? Here's the thing that's so exciting is, I mean, I have been thinking. I mean, Rain talks about the cycles, and you just never know, right? Like historical performance is no guarantee of future performance of what's going to happen. Like, and so you can sit there and do all of the thinking and say, I think it's going to do this and I'm going to plan accordingly. But when it's starting to happen, you're just like, I was right. Like, and all of these plays that you've been making. And man, so we're in this Telegram chat and some people are like, oh, some of my friends are reaching out and they're like, hey, when should I get into Bitcoin? And I told some of my friends, I was like, yeah, you should get into Bitcoin 2 years ago when I told you to buy. And you didn't listen. And they were like, they did not think that was funny, but yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's funny.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I just had somebody I know from 10 years ago reach out to me and is like, what? He actually said, I have some Bitcoin and it's going way up and I don't know why. Please tell me why. So I shared with him what's going on.
No, what's happening to my nose. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys. It's Bitcoin. It's going so high. It's blowing my nose up. So what is better?
Stop it with the cocaine, Jordan. Just because you can buy it doesn't mean you should.
This juice has 3 or 4 chilies in it. They're homegrown. It's got habanero.
Is that what you call it in Australia?
Yeah. So if you hide it in green stuff, nobody will ever suspect.
It's true. That's true. That's how you do it. Yeah, this is crazy. Like, I think you guys follow Plan B. Plan B just did a full analysis, and what he says is we've just printed the first red dot on his color chart, which means we just started the bull run. Guys, we're about to hit Bitcoin all-time high. It's just the very, very start of the bull run.
No, I mean, so this is something I think people need to take into consideration because I've been hearing that a lot. Like, oh, the bull run is just starting. The bull run is just starting, and I'm like, no, the bull run started like early last year, honestly. So like we're like a year in. We're like a year in to Bitcoin, like trending upwards, like with that momentum, right? So that is something to take into consideration. Now, also historically, Bitcoin has hit a new all-time high, like its new all-time high 12 to 18 months after the halving. Right? So we could still have a year, we could still have a year and a half, or we could have like 8 months or 6. Like we have no idea, right? Because there's sharks in the water now with this Bitcoin ETF. This is Wall Street traders, and this is all they do, right? They're looking at these things, these fund managers. So that is something also to take into consideration. But it's exciting times and not knowing what to do times, right? Because this is uncharted territory now. Will be very soon.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. This has never happened before. This is historically never happened.
I'd like to address the comment by Soccer FP. He said, can you talk about David's comments in the interview with Matamona? There needs to be more Omi talk to pressure the team. Omi can't miss this bull run. This is just my perspective. I don't know everything, but I have been in crypto for 7 years. And I specifically look at two things. I think economics 24/7. I can't even shut that off. My mind just works that way. Secondly, is the psychology of people behavior. Why do we as people make the decisions we do? And what I've noticed about tokens running is it's not about him talking about the token that's going to cause it to happen. What's going to happen is the digital collectibles narrative is going to hit. And this isn't even going to cause by David. It's going to be caused by other people talking about it. Other people with large audiences pushing people to think about that. And it's going to blow up like this. And then people are going to look around and they're going to say, okay, who are the biggest players in the digital collectible space? Oh my gosh, look at this company, VeVe, and their token, Omi. And it's going to go crazy. So the only thing David needs to keep doing is keep growing where the collectibles can be and getting good licenses that they can. That's the only thing he needs to do. Talking about it, I don't need him to talk about it. It's going to happen regardless. And I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it can't happen unless this happens. Can't happen unless this. And Omi will miss the bull run. Omi is not going to miss the bull run. Even if the founders died today, Omi would probably massively pump during the coming bull run. It just wouldn't pump as much. And you'll see that. Like, who pumped Doge? Who pumped, or like the founders of Doge didn't do anything. It's just the meme coin narrative hit and it took off. And so it feels like that. It feels like David needs to do more so that Omi goes up, but he doesn't. We're just waiting for that narrative to hit. David needs to keep doing what David's doing. He's doing all the right things. I'm really happy with the things he's doing. That's what he needs to keep doing, because when the digital collectibles narrative hits, he's positioned his company to be the premier thing that people are going to think about, that will go up tremendously. But you will see Omi go up tremendously. Flow will go up tremendously. Some of these other much smaller projects will go up tremendously, and they'll all hit together. It's just Omi will be one of the leaders that a lot of people then follow into. Would we all like to see it on a few more exchanges? Yes.
Couldn't the corporations just all in tandem too just say, hey, it's time to turn the faucet on, and every one of them that are all on VeVe could just start promoting all at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah. Like NBA Top Shots, what's funny is I was paying attention to that and I thought, man, this idea of these basketball moments, this is 2020. Still, like, the bull market had started, just most people hadn't realized it. So the bottom was in March of 2020. NBA Top Shots came out in like July, and they were paying influencers. They're like, hey, if you talk about us. So we're talking influencers with like 500 subscriber channels. And they're like, we'll give you 10 packs if you talk about us. And so like they couldn't get any traction at all. And it was going terribly. And I heard about them. I was like, man, this is the first NBA license. So I bought about $1,100 worth of packs. But they were like struggling to get any awareness. And then as the bull market happened, people started talking about Bitcoin. They then started talking about crypto. Then some of the basketball players, like, they had actually been collecting their moments, but nobody listened to them talking about it till everyone was thinking about crypto. And then them talking about it would then get replayed by everyone. And it went absolutely crazy. NBA Top Shots ran a week's worth of commercials, maybe 2 weeks worth of commercials. And then they had so much traffic, it shut down NBATopShots.com, and they had to like lay off the ads, and they just coasted from there. And all that happened was crypto came into the main narrative. And then people said, oh, well, digital collectible basketball moments. Oh my gosh. And like my $1,100 investment went to $185,000. It went like crazy. And that kind of stuff is what we're looking for. That's what we're waiting for. And that hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So you're still early and you're just waiting for that to come together.
I mean, the halving hasn't even started yet.
Right. We're still early, and it can be hard to be patient. There's like, I feel your pain, because it's like, man, I want this to happen. It's going to come, and it's going to come like a tidal wave, and it will somewhat catch you off guard because it happens slowly and then suddenly, and you feel like nothing. And then right as you're most tempted to sell, is like 2 weeks later that it goes absolutely crazy. And so
that's what happened to me last cycle.
Right. And a lot of people do sell. They're just like, I'm tired of being in this OMI thing. Nothing is happening with it. I'm going to sell and roll into this meme coin that just went 15x. And right as they do that, guess what happens? OMI's ready to pump, and it pumps. And I've seen that hope happen over and over and over again by people. Oh, I'm tired of being in this coin that's not moving. I'm moving into the ones that are moving. What are they in essence saying? I'm going to chase green candles into the ones that have already pumped because this one's doing nothing and is still way undervalued. And so I'm going to go into the ones that have now gone a whole bunch, because essentially that's where the dopamine is. That's where the action is. And they sell just in time and roll it into this other one. Not only do they catch a retracement on the one they just moved their money into, the one they just sold finally takes off. And I've seen that happen again and again.
So I want to address this because Leonidas is asked this twice now, right? But he's just asking about like, when do we think? I don't know if you can share that, Jordan, right? But there was one earlier. I mean, it's kind of up there. But anyways, he was just like, what do we think about when OMI to NFT is coming? And then people in tandem with that, people were talking about bull run for crypto, but what about for VeVe? And I do think that OMI to NFT like will be an impetus, right, for a rise in a lot of the VeVe collectibles. And I say that because I've talked to a lot of crypto people that are just like, I'm not cashing out my crypto into fiat just to put it into VeVe, but I'll cash out. I'll use my crypto if I can use my crypto to do it. Then I will. And they're kind of waiting for that. So, but there's two things that have to kind of happen because you need an easier on ramp. Now, the crypto people, crypto natives, like I was able to do the bridge. It was fine. It was stressful because my bridge took like, I was walking my buddy how to do it. Right. And so then I was doing it at the same time. And like his went in with like 2 minutes or like even faster. He's like, oh yeah, it's like there. And I'm like, where's my stuff? Like I had a lot more that I was transferring over. Right. And like, I was like stressed, you know? And so the crypto natives will get it. They understand the bridging, but being able to purchase layer 2 OMI on the web app is so crucial to the OMI to NFT. It will help because then people are like, if they want to buy OMI, that's for the people who don't understand crypto. Then the people who don't want to cash out into fiat will be able to use those bridges. But what's going to happen, right, is people are going to be able to, they want exposure to OMI. And so they'll list their NFTs in OMI, right? And by doing that, and then people are like, I've got some gains from crypto. I'll convert it to OMI and then bring it into the app and buy this, right? And then there's more demand that's coming in from that side. And so like that demand is going to be there. People are going to be buying OMI to be able to use that. People are going to be purchasing it on the app if these two things come together. But I believe that OMI to NFT is coming in Q2. That's my prediction, is that they got to be right on the cusp of that, because we saw the Ecomi talking, the Ecomi Twitter talking about OMI to NFT as their big focus. So I think that that's going to kick off a lot of price upward movement, honestly, on a lot of the NFTs. Not all of them. I think that we're going to see like the blue chips going first, but then that does kind of waterfall into some of the mid-tier to lower tier NFTs.
I saw I think I saw a poll about how many people are going to use their OMI to buy NFT, VeVe NFTs when they can. And it was a really high percentage, like 60% of people that have OMI in VeVe are going to use their OMI to buy, VeVe collectibles. So I think that it will bring a lot of liquidity to VeVe. It'll definitely help pump up some of those prices, especially the grails.
Yeah, I'll be selling if they allow it to. I'll be selling a lot of collectibles for OMI.
Ooh, yeah, that's going the other way.
It has to go both ways.
Because I've been stacking. OMI, I've been stacking a lot of things just so I can sell that to OMI.
I actually really like a lot of the collectibles that'll never sell, but there'll be a few that go up enough that I might sell for OMI.
Yeah, like I'm gonna sell a gold silver logo at 25K into OMI if I can.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
because I have two of them.
It's gonna be interesting. If you guys saw last bull run, NFT narrative really came in towards the end, almost like after the Bitcoin had started to come down and after the altcoins had just started to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if NFTs are going to be like the last thing in this cycle again, as it was last time, or
wasn't it 2021, like March, April, May, or something like that, where everything?
2022, we had really crazy NFT volume. right? Like that's where we went crazy. Is the start of 2022. So
So
it
you
was
would
definitely
figure
like
2025 would be around the same, probably
yeah.
March,
So
April
probably next
2025.
year, VeVe NFTs will really go crazy, but it's hard to predict. Like this is
Yeah.
It's all new.
If you think about it, why did blockchain gaming run in October? Well, it ran because Alex Becker talked about it. And then green candles create more green candles. So Alex Becker talked about it, and then Elio Trades and a few other influencers jumped on the bandwagon. And they created a pump out of nothing. There was no reason that blockchain gaming should run, and yet it did. So when the digital collectibles narrative happens, it'll happen because some outside thing, or just a convergence of the price has been too low for too long, and it starts like the charts are going to start pushing it up. And then as the green candles happen, people chase into green candles. When they're new, that's what they always do. They do not buy when it's red and when it's cheap. They buy when everyone else is buying. They buy when it's already done a 10x, thinking that it will for sure do another 10x. And maybe in Omi's case, possibly it will. I would even say probably it will. But like, that's when they buy. So they don't buy low. Most people, like my videos, don't get tons of traction because I'm talking about undiscovered gems that nobody's talking about when nobody's talking about it. And it doesn't help me for my video traffic when 7 months later it goes absolutely crazy, because then there's 7,000 people making current videos on it then about how it just went 20x and it will do another 100x from here. And those are the videos that get all the traction. Cool. That's cool. But that's why most big YouTube channels are a terrible place to go for good alpha on undiscovered or cheap projects. Why they got big by pumping things that were already hot when they were hot. That's how you get big on YouTube.
I got wrecked.
You savage your audience. Yeah, you savage your audience, but that's how you get big. If I wanted to grow to 2 million viewers and make tons of ad revenue, that's just what I would do. I can't do that in good faith because I know it would destroy the audience, but that's how you do it. That's the formula. It's like Dogecoin just went up, 5x. You talk about Dogecoin and why it's going to do another 100x from here. And it could, I'd say the chances are about 1%, but it could. But that's how you get lots of viewers. And that's why big channels are often a terrible place to go to for, I don't know, undiscovered gems and what might be cheap that nobody's talking about.
Ryan, did you want to answer Big A's question? I'll pull it up.
It's it's a little bit of a long answer, but he asked me a good question. So like the other week was a pretty good week. At the top of some holdings I had, it actually went up about 7 million. My portfolio did. I was like, holy shit.
Wow.
It was like riding a rocket, right?
Yeah.
And then, it came down to like 4 million. I was like, oh, cool. Like, but I only took a little bit out of that because I still believe like one of the major swings that happened that caused some of that growth. Like I still very much believe in that project. And so it's seen a little bit of attraction, but I think it's got more to go. So like, do I want to buy a lot more Omi? I did buy some more Omi. I actually sold some and bought some Omi, but unfortunately Omi isn't as juicy as it was. I mean, a lot of the 32 million I had picked up, I bought near the bottom. And so I'm price sensitive. So it's like, why would I sell the thing that I have that's actually still at a pretty decent price? If I didn't have any, I'd probably be buying more. For something else, I would probably be buying more because I like to sell what's decently up for what's undervalued. And it's not, Omi is still undervalued, but I'm selling something else that's undervalued for something that's undervalued. And so I did still buy, like, man, that hurt so much losing 32 million Omi. So I bought like 13 or 14 million more. But then I didn't, I didn't want to keep selling what was undervalued to buy something else that's undervalued. And it's unfortunately like with Omi, I wish I had way more Omi, but a lot of my other stuff hasn't been way up when Omi's been at juicier prices. And so it just hasn't worked out that I have more than, I had like 82 million Omi. That reset me back to about 50 million Omi. And I paid probably $150,000 for that 50 million Omi because a lot of it I bought at higher prices. Yeah. Why? Because you buy what you think is the bottom and then it goes cheaper. And then you buy some more and then it goes cheaper on you. And that's just what happens when you're buying in a bear market. I mean, this time
now you got those gas fees too.
I was still upside down this time last bear market. And people say, Rain, you're a terrible investor. And it's like, look, I didn't know where the bottom was. And from the very bottom, my portfolio went to 100x. So am I a bad investor? I actually only had a 35% success rate. So you could say I was a terrible investor. But from the bottom, I went up 100x, and I went 20x from what I put in. So am I a terrible investor? I don't know. I think the strategy that I follow is fucking awesome, and that it outperforms every fucking thing else. Am I good at it? Well, clearly I wasn't very good at it. I just had a 35% success rate last bear market. Have I gotten better? Yes. And I was somewhat new, and I was perfecting the strategy. Why? Because there was nobody that told me how to do it that way. I had to invent it just by failure and by figuring out what was more efficient and what was working and what wasn't. Nobody taught me how to do that, but my mind thinks economics, psychology, people behavior every time. So I was finding the efficient path to follow because there was nobody to show it to me. Oh,
one of my issues was I didn't put enough money in.
Cool. Somebody had to do it.
Yeah.
I wish I had it better than a 35% success rate? Yes. Can I complain about how well I did? I'm pretty happy with it.
Cool. Big A is very happy with that answer. And I think I Love Golf sort of might want you to put glasses on. I could be wrong.
Yeah, let's try it.
That make me
I love that he always brings that up. It cracks me up.
I like this guy.
Fun way.
Omi 190 million has 190 million Omi. Who would have known it?
Wow.
But you have to change your name if you get more Omi now. This is a terrible idea. Oh my gosh.
So Soccer FP is asking, I did just buy more Definity.
Randy's doing a stream with them, right? Randy's doing a stream with Definity a team sometime soon. So I think Randy and I already did one with them a while ago, Definity. Or was that you and I? I definitely was on a stream of Definity at some point.
I think we did a video call with them to make an introduction so you guys could get to know him. Maybe you guys did an introductory video call with him. I connected you up to Manu from Definity, who was genius. I love it when founders of companies are like really, really smart. And I love running into people that are like smarter than me. When I talk to them, I feel like dumb compared to them. And Manu, he is so brilliant. I feel like definitely not the smartest person in the room around him. And I love being in situations like that where this guy is really, really smart. And another thing he's really high end that I look for in leaders is high sincerity. They're very genuine. And I get that feeling from Manu. He's very genuine, high sincerity, really smart, hardworking, like everything I like to see in a leader. And so part of the reason I believe in Definity is because I absolutely believe in Manu. Like a lot of what I found most success in is investing in not only good ideas, but the team behind it is critical, which is why like David Yu, that's why I believe in Omi. Like David Yu, why? I love that guy. What do I also see with David Yu? Hard work ethic, high sincerity. He's as genuine as they come. They don't come any more genuine than David Yu is. So Manu has that quality as well. Jonathan Descartes from Bumper, also very genuine.
Yeah, I'm loving these projects. Like Rain, I've learned a lot from you. I've got like pretty much all the ones that you're interested in, like Bumper and Definity, and there's a handful there. They're slowly growing my portfolio. I think Definity had massive gains early on. I think I got like a 5x on it very early on as well.
Yeah, it went from 1.7 cents to like 7.5 cents. After I covered them, and they called me after, they're like, what the heck, you cover us once and we go 7.5 cents? I was like, I don't think that was from me. Like, I don't know what caused that. I think I might be getting credit for something I didn't cause. I don't know why I did that. I only had 500 to 800 views on the video, so don't blame me. Yeah.
I do want to ask Bill. Bill, do you have other crypto other than Essence Token and Omi?
Yeah. So one of my problems last run was I didn't buy enough, and like I put $100 in Cardano, and actually, funny story. I bought Bitcoin at 7,000, and I sold it at 10,000, and I'm like, yes. And I bought a gold coin in the shape of a Bitcoin, which I was like, this is amazing. It's all about gold and silver. And then I watched my gold like stay right there, and I watched Bitcoin just to 69,000 or whatever it was. And I'm like, that's never going to happen again, ever.
Yes. Yeah. You don't make that mistake twice. Yeah.
So I had $100 in Cardano that turned into 6,000. And I'm like, I'm not selling that. Why? I might as well just keep stacking for the next run. And now I know to buy more of each stack because I was buying a little bit of a lot of things.
Yep.
Some things went to zero. And so now my biggest holding is Omi and ER2, and I just got into Pepe.
Did you 4x over the last week?
I honestly just did it for fun, though. You know.
Yeah, that's what I did. I made $4,000 on Pepe last year.
I know. I'm up like $4,000 this week.
Yeah,
but
I mean that was in a week too. Remember Pepe's last run last year was it was very short and sweet. It was
yeah. So I only had a little bit of ILV. I think I had like 8 or 10 of them. I sold them for Pepe because I'm like, I want to have some fun here. And then it like 4 or 5x this past week. So now I'm thinking, do I put it back into ILV? Do I put it back into a serious project? Or are people just dumb enough to pump it another 100x?
Well, just think, I think Pepe and Bonk are the two new Doge and SHIB coin.
Right.
That's what they look like they're shaping up to. Pepe and Bonk have been running really hard, harder than everything else. And then Doge and SHIB, they're already so huge, they can't really move anywhere near as quickly.
Plus, Pepe is it's a symbol of resistance too for a lot of people. And I think that has a lot to do with a lot of things of people that are unhappy with the political situation in America. And I think people are running into Pepe as kind of like a, like an FU.
Almost like
I think that has a lot to do with it too. Yeah.
The reason I stay away from meme coins is not that you can't make money on them. The predictability is low, though. I will say, going into a bull run and things haven't pumped yet, meme coins almost always pump as Bitcoin pumps.
Yeah.
In the early days, because early days, what do people that don't know anything about crypto buy? Bitcoin and meme coins. So you almost have to go with the well-known ones because there will be a ton of meme coins that won't do anything at all.
Yeah.
And so buying a brand new meme coin, your chance of being successful on that, you might as well play the lottery because you're going to lose just like you would playing the lottery. And I know there's stories about, I bought $200 worth of this, and there are stories about people winning the lottery too, and your chances are about the same. If you go with one that's already established before the pump, that is actually somewhat predictable. How far up will it run? I was explaining this to this guy I was talking to earlier, a friend from 10 years ago. That's like, I have Bitcoin and it's gone up and I don't know why. He also had a meme coin. He had SHIB, and he's like, and it's going up. I don't know why. And he's like, what would you do with this? I was like, well, what I would do is, I don't know the predictability from here to 6 months from now. It'll probably be higher. I have no idea how much higher or where it will be or how it'll play out. It's just pump 3x. Personally, I would be selling that to roll it into something I feel is more predictable, but you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, what would you roll it into? And I was like, Flow on Coinbase, because he's not sophisticated enough to know anything beyond Coinbase and Robinhood. I was like, Flow on Coinbase. And he's like, I think Flow will do, if it does bad, it'll do 10x from here. It'll probably do 15 to 30 though. And he's like, 15 to 30, that's crazy. I'm like, no, crazy is 100 to 1,000. But 15 to 30 is not crazy. We deal in that space all the time.
I'm stuck. I'm like, I have 42 million on me, and I had 44 point something. I was going to go to 50, but now I'm to a point where I'm like, well, I don't want to pay those gas fees. So I'm going to probably just start putting the money in like Bumper or Flow or just different projects. And that's what actually made me think of Pepe, because I was just like, you know what, I'm going to try something fun, and I know it could go to 0. I don't care, but I got to put it in more serious projects because there's no way to buy Omi at a decent price now with those giant gas fees.
Yeah, you have to have a friend that has like a Gate.io account, and they used to like not be, enforce the whole like thing, and now they do. So if you have a friend in Europe and whatever, it's like work out a deal. It's like pick up a whole bunch and Well,
I actually did a deal with Dr. Profit recently, and that's how I got like 25% of my Omi off the table. So I didn't have to pay anything like that. So that was one of my recent purchases. I think I ended up getting like 8 or 9 million Omi. And so now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I got a nice stack, and my buy-in price is at like 0.00078 or something like that.
Oh, nice.
It's really low. The first million I bought at like 0.006. I paid $6,000 for my first million. And then, I just kept watching you guys. I kept buying and buying and buying all the way down. And I bought the bulk of my OMI that low. And so
Awesome. That's really cool.
yeah, so
That's
I've
a
got,
setup
I
for
think, like
success when it was
30-ish K into it. Yeah.
when it was as low as it was, and it's still fairly low, right? I
Yeah.
just can't sell what's low to buy what's low.
Right.
Like, but if all of a sudden one swings way, way up, like my goal was to buy a whole bunch, right? So I had it go really well, but that's portfolio value. I could only sell some of that portfolio anyway without tanking the price. Not like I can liquidate 4 million like this. I only have access to 10% of that anyway on one of the things that I have. So it's like, okay, I could liquidate 400,000. At one point it was 700,000 and roll that into OMI. It wasn't even enough because OMI's price had pumped. My hope was to get 1 billion OMI. That OMI would stay low while that one was high. And the timing just played out poorly. And I'm like, crap. Oh, well.
Yeah.
So
And
to expect the OMI's price will go back down where it was, I don't think it'll happen. So in order for me to now end up with 1 billion, the other one would have to go crazy while OMI kind of stays where it's at.
Or Rain, you could start, if we get a good enough pump in those collectibles, you could sell them for OMI and then start stacking your OMI that way on the back end if it's worth it,
They'll probably run about the same time is the hard thing. So if the collectibles ran independent of OMI and it say the price, because it's like, why sell the collectibles when they're up to buy OMI when it's up?
Yeah.
So it's like if they ran different from each other, then that would make sense.
Right.
And at some point I'll be taking profits. Like, 5 years from now, am I going to own any OMI? Maybe a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to own a lot of it. It just depends on where the price is at. If OMI is at $20, am I going to own a lot of it? Probably not. Why? It's had its major run. The early days are now done. All the massive gains are done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but to that point though, I think that there will be people who will be fine selling collectibles to get OMI, to get the utility of the token, right? For the MCP points, right? And for these season, ones and season twos and the collectibles that will come with that. So there will be people and that's the thing, right? There's two different mindsets. There's investor mindset where I'm like, I just want the token for the price appreciation. But what VeVe and Ecomi are trying to build is a reason to buy the token apart from speculation on prices, right? It's that'll be the utility there. And that's what I really, from the get-go, really caught me about the token is I'm like, man, if this really comes together where there's, whether it's discounts and buying from the secondary market or OMI accessories, right? If this really comes together and people are just like, I want to buy the token because of XYZ, bronze tickets is a big one, right? So people who don't have the MCP points, if I can buy $1 worth of OMI on the app, I can get more chances to land this drop, then they'll do that. And they don't care what the price of OMI gets to because it's tied to $1 amount of OMI, right? Those are the types of things. So yeah, I'm with you, Rain, in that I do hope to sell some of my OMI as it goes up in price, but I will probably keep some of that, because I want that utility and I love what they're building there, as opposed to a lot of other projects that I'm in right now where it's truly price speculation. There isn't that utility to it.
Doc, have you got your 10 million OMI in the VeVe app?
Yeah,
to get your points?
Yeah, I got that. I got that way back when they announced the 10 million. I think I initially put in 6.8, and then I think a month or something after I was I moved some more over there to get it to the 10 million because I do like those extra MCP points, right? And I'm still saving up for Wolverine because I'm going to freaking get Wolverine on the drop.
Hugh Jackman.
And maybe they'll have that look, look like that would be epic. I remember when X-Men came out and they're like, oh, we have this Wolverine. I'm like, there is no one who will be able to meet my expectations of Wolverine. I don't care who it is. And then I saw it and I was like, all right, I stand corrected. Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. Yeah, he is Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh, he just nailed it, And so I'm a huge fan of him ever since. And but I think that Wolverine is coming in July with a release of Deadpool 3, right? And then there's that San Diego Comic-Con. There we go, sleeping. Another Wolverine fan. We've talked about that, but oh my gosh, a lot of MCP points for that. And that's why I like having that OMI on the app.
Hey, Doc, what would you do if they did an FA Mighty Wolverine?
I already said,
He'd lose it.
You're coming for David.
I would lose my
David's
mind.
gone.
And literally, I would become VeVe's #1 fudder for like a month, right? I would start like a
They
Telegram
did to me.
channel, right? I'm just like Wolverine, like VeVe's worst decision ever made. You know, like I would. Oh man, I would.
Well,
Be
they did to me.
so
Because do
upset.
you know my favorite Marvel character? My favorite
that?
Marvel character is Doctor Strange, and they
Your-
just did that. to me.
Dang.
They made him into the Mighty. It's a cool looking Mighty,
Mm.
but it's still a Mighty. I would have much preferred if they did like real life
Wait,
looking
no, what are
one.
you talking about? They did Doctor Strange. He had the Doctor Strange. I was thinking Doctor Octopus. And I was like, that's an odd one, but yeah, Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They nailed
did
it on
very-
Dr. Octopus, but like
Yeah, that was way cool. I had the red one.
was
Like
cool,
I really
yeah.
liked, and that's like sitting pretty low. I like that collectible, but yeah.
Sea
See,
Revolt.
you can't do. Yeah, I seriously, I'm not joking. I would start a Telegram channel, and we'd have like a structured campaign, a FUD campaign of like, please burn all Wolverine Mighties and reset it and make him a premium.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, pull up Sleepin's comment because Sleepin, we got a lot more to lose than those coins. You know, like I'm 249 wallet on the app. If that gets locked up, I'm losing like $40,000 in collectibles.
So here's the thing, right? If VeVe
You know,
goes down,
don't worry
your
about that
Omi's
coin.
your Omi's pretty worthless, right? If VeVe goes down,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
I don't think it's a huge risk keeping your 10 million Omi in there. To me,
Right.
anyway.
I actually
Yeah.
started buying collectibles first before I even touched Omi, and I was
Yep.
stacking those in the bear market. And
When
then
did you
I
get
started-
in, Bill? Did you get in 2021?
Yeah, in May.
May? Okay.
Back to the Future car. That was my first one.
You were there for the Back to the Future drop? That drop was horrible.
No, I think I missed a drop. I bought it in the aftermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That drop was like you went there and the whole thing crashed and you had to come back like an hour or two later. And for me,
Yeah.
I'm in Australia. It was like 1 a.m. So I had to wait till like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. to finish off the drop.
Dang.
But I ended up buying like a ton of DeLoreans. I had 2 or 3 ultra rares and I got like 100 commons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I got. A
Yeah,
lot
I
of-
bought like 100 comments too, right?
Yeah, because I
Between
showed
my
Rain, I
account,
showed
my
you that
wife
video.
account.
Remember? So I remember because I bought everyone was hyped on the ultra rare DeLorean because it was going to be like real size and you could shrink it, right? But like they had teased being able to drive some of the vehicles, and the DeLorean was going to like be able to do that. And then I bought a common. And I opened up the app and I was driving it and I screenshotted and I sent it to Rain and a couple of my buddies. And I'm like, yo, no one knows that the common is also drivable. And so I'm like, I just started buying a ton of them. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be huge when people like find this out. And then they turned it off.
Yeah.
You should see my comments back then. For like a month, I fudded VeVe. I was so angry. I was just like, what the heck? I'm like, and I was all over the place. And I'm like, look, they had said that it was not coming. I had assumed that this wasn't like a big, nice surprise for people.
trick.
They'd be like,
Yeah.
hey, we just wanted to like let you guys experience this. And I had made those assumptions and I had to eat that. But anyways, that was a funny time. And I still love my DeLoreans. I've kept most of them, but as some of the prices did pump, I've sold some of those and made all my money.
They went up quite a bit, right?
Yeah,
At
yeah.
one
It got to
point, it was
like the commons were like 150, 130 to 150.
yeah, and the ultra rare was like $2,000 or something.
Yeah, it shot up like
I was like, I'm not selling nothing.
I think I sold one
I
at
hardly
that.
ever sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple ultra rares. I have a whole ton of the little commons. Who here is going to San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah, I saw
not me.
that. When is that? Is
Queen
that the end of the
VeVe,
year?
are you coming? Bill, are you coming? Because VeVe fan band, like I just heard about this yesterday. So Randy, everyone's putting together a group of people to go to Deadpool 3. And it's like, if we get enough people, then we can rent out a theater. That would be so awesome.
When is it?
Be
Is
with
it
everyone.
April, May?
July. It's in July.
It's July. It's
Oh,
terrible timing. My
July.
friend is flying for his birthday. A group of us all to Italy for 2 weeks, paying for everything, flying out on a private jet. And I was like, "What are the dates?" San Diego Comic-Con is right in the middle of that. I'm like, "F."
Yeah, I'm
have
like
to meet
north
you
of
there the
Cleveland.
Monday after because like
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like east of Cleveland, so
yeah.
I'm
Laura,
not-
you're near me, huh?
Pittsburgh, outside of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like up by like the lake in
Yeah, we're not far.
Cleveland area. Yeah,
We're not.
That's not a very far flight. Come on.
I was just
Bitcoin's
there.
pushing back. Bitcoin's pushing back, guys. It's
Oh.
gonna hit that
It
all-time high.
is San
I
Diego,
was just
right?
there in
Oh, the
December.
weather's going to
No,
be
I'm doing
amazing.
No, I'm gonna do New York and Vegas. If we get enough people, I will go to Vegas for Decon, even though I don't think VeVe's representing at Decon. But not San Diego. It's just too expensive, the tickets, and I'll do New York. I'll do New York and Vegas.
You know, Queen, you could probably apply for a press pass. You might be able to. You know what, that window,
I think that's closed,
the
man.
window closed. Shoot, I was like,
yeah.
Queen, your
Yeah.
channel's big enough. Your Twitter's big enough. For New York, you can probably apply for it, and you'd probably get it.
Well, thanks for that heads up. But yeah,
When's New York
forward.
Comic Con? Is that November?
October. I think it's October.
I think it's late October, isn't it? It's in October.
New York is
No,
yeah, like around then. Yeah, I was just looking up the tickets for it. I'm on the fence whether I'm going or not.
New York's way more doable. San Diego, it's really intense. Like
My thing was
you got to
York's
buy
gonna be-
like other
Go ahead.
ones that aren't botted. So Randy tells me, like they're so heavily botted. Unless you're already in the pool of them, they're really hard to get.
Yeah, it is. And then the aftermarket, where they go for 600 to 1,000 or something.
Yeah, I'm just not that intense. I don't need to be that intense. I don't
know
to
that Randy's actually going to go to the Comic-Con part itself. He's just going there to hang out with everybody in the after parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, let's see. What do we have? November 15th through 17th.
Decon's in November.
There you go.
That's
Yeah,
Decon.
Decon now. That's
Is
Vegas.
VeVe confirmed for this year for Decon?
No.
I haven't heard him confirm it.
So I'm trying to find out which one of these events I can go to towards the end of the year. If crypto goes how it's going, I should be good to go. For, if it's gone up already, I can pull some out. That's cool. I don't want to pull it out before that.
See,
You
my
want
other
to come
problem
to New
is
York. I'm going to
Sometimes
say
you
New
find
York. New York. New York.
New York is where Sanjay is saying that there's going to be like like an Oscars or whatever, right? For the VeVe fan, for like a lot of different awards, like in different verticals of like hosting YouTubers, but then also like people who have done like music things or videos like Metaverse Life, you know, the Uncle Palpy like series that he's doing right now. But I think that that's going to be a lot of fun. So like if I had to choose one, I probably, and I'm so jealous of all the people who went to New York Comic Con and the videos there. So like, I definitely want to hit that up. But San Diego Comic Con, like I want to do both. I'm going to do both, you know.
and
But
it sounds like he's trying to get Peach Momoko to be at the private party too.
yeah, and that'd be
awesome.
huge. That would be.
So that's October, right? We got time. We got some
October.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we'll see.
Even
we'll
if
see
you
how
can't get a ticket to the Comic-Con part of it, just come, because it'll be
Come
the
to the
VeVe
party.
after parties that are the big deal, right?
Yeah, it's probably what I'll end up doing, I imagine.
Yeah, because like the actual event, walking around it, it's kind of cool and everything. And sometimes VeVe does some cool things there, but it's like, it's the hanging out with everyone after that is like really makes it epic. And it's fun how the community is. It's such a cool community.
Yeah, Randy invited me to France, but I was already in I was in Phoenix for a while, and then I went to Mexico, and I would have literally just been coming back to the US for a week, and then happened to go to France for multiple weeks, and then I'm glad I didn't, because Randy didn't end up going, and a lot of people didn't. Other people didn't end up going too, so I probably wouldn't have known too many people.
How good are patient
I
holders
think
reaction?
New York is probably where the most spam. I mean, that could always change, but that's where you get the most people, population density, whatever it is. You will see the most people there.
I'm gonna aim for that then. October. Let's go crypto. We got quite a while till then. So 7-8 months. Right.
Jordan, like there's no doubt in my mind, man, that you're flying out for New York Comic Con. I crypto is just
You coming, Jordan?
Crushing it.
It's like a 20-hour flight or something. I'll do it.
It's okay. Take a boat.
Take a boat.
Drive the yacht up.
Rain, can you pick me up in your yacht? You saw the comments earlier, Rain? We got someone. Was it you, Laurie? Someone said we'll jump on Rain's.
It was Fam Bam.
Yeah, I did not buy that yacht. We did charter it for a day. It was awesome, but like
Yeah.
I'm not buying a yacht till the numbers get crazy. Then I might consider buying a yacht. Other than that, it's just like charter one for a week.
That
Owning
Sky
a
Shop
boat,
was
you know,
awesome.
boat stands for break out another 1,000, right? And that's when you're talking about an inexpensive boat. When you're talking an expensive boat, it's like break out another 100,000. So
That's crazy. Kumo says New York Comic Con 2023 was off the hook. Fantastic. Yeah, I saw the videos. I was very jealous, very jelly. I have to get there at some point. I have to go visit you guys and meet up in person. Yeah. We'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. Let's go, Omi. Let's go. I think we broke a 001 early on the stream.
Q2, Ben. I think Q2 is when we're going to be able to buy Omi. Oh, buy Omi on the app. I'd say Q3 at the latest. I really think that they have to. They're focusing on Omi the NFT, but then in tandem with that, being able to buy it on the app has to be a very, very high priority, because that's where most people, because they kind of like have one leg on in crypto and like one leg right in like Web 2, and so they know that a lot of people that they're bringing on have no experience with crypto, and that they need to be able to get that credit card to just pipe Omi right on layer 2. So I'd say Q3 at the latest, but I think that end of Q2 could definitely happen.
I wonder also if they're waiting on that ruling from like the Coinbase lawsuit. I don't think that ruling's come back yet against the SEC, where the SEC was suing them for listing security tokens on their exchange. And I don't see how that goes well for the SEC. I think the SEC is going to lose in that, and that will take away a lot of the crap that US people have to deal with, and that companies in the crypto space have to worry about, that all of a sudden their token will be deemed a security, and then they'll be attacked indirectly, like what happened with Coinbase, where the SEC said Cardano was a security and all these things were a security, and was suing Coinbase for listing them, having them listed. And I think because the ruling from the one judge already came back that said, hey, a token being on an exchange and people buying on an exchange is not a security contract. Mm-hmm. So kind of the SEC's already lost that. So why they then sued Coinbase, I think it was just another ditch effort to slow things down. But I think the SEC loses that. Then you might even see exchanges loosen up the requirements and allow US people on, because their regulatory risk from the SEC will hopefully be decreased enough they feel they can do that.
So I'm going to touch on regulations. One of my, I'd say, strong points. I'll say the judge's ruling was like basically said that, yeah, once it's on, people are purchasing on a secondary market. She didn't consider that a security, but it wasn't exactly that. She basically said that in the Ripple case, the people who were buying in the secondary market were compared to secondary market purchasers. She compared them like the two, and she did make a distinction that they were different. But then she also said that the only reason that she didn't bring in the actual secondary market purchasers is because it wasn't part of the lawsuit. But a lot of legal opinions have basically said, look, like it's basically there. Like, so if people just have to make the argument, it's like, here's the judge's ruling. She compared the two people buying on the secondary market as basically the same like type of action. And so most people believe it'll be very easy win to, like, for once you do the token raise and once it's on a secondary market, then it's no longer considered a security. So a lot of projects can do their token raise outside the US, not have US investors. And so it would be considered a security by SEC rules, right? But then because they didn't impact US users, it won't be affected. And then once it's trading on the secondary market, you're fine. But to Rain's point about suing Coinbase, there was this hearing in January. I think it was like January 8th or around there. And the judge, in her responses to a lot of the SEC's like arguments, she was using Coinbase's arguments. like not even her own words, right? She was just like, Coinbase makes a great point, and just like was using Coinbase. And she's like, I'm gonna take some time to like really like make this ruling. And so she hasn't come back out yet, but I'm like that's not looking good for the SEC. But part of that lawsuit, Rain, was that the things that they were listing were being, the tokens could be staked, and that there could be yield from that. And so Now to Big A's question, would regulations allow OMI on the app? Here's the thing. OMI will probably have a third party that goes in, right, and is doing all those mechanisms, and it's probably a smart contract or something like that, right? Like a some sort of swapping pool or something, or MoonPay. So they won't be doing that. So they wouldn't be considered an exchange. That's where regulation could come in and impact, Ecomi, and they're definitely going to be steering clear of that. So I think that however they structure it, it's going to be so that they don't have to worry about those regulations. And there are companies that do that. MoonPay does that. You can buy crypto with a credit card. So there's a lot of different ways that they can structure that so that they don't run into those regulations.
They're also not allowed to use crypto in Apple, but on the web app, we'll be able to do that sort of thing.
I think so there's a ruling on that, though, that's changing where they already lost against Epic Games, right? Wasn't it Epic Games that sued Apple, where basically Apple had said, nope, you can't divert like payment for things on your app outside of the Apple ecosystem, right? Which then forced them to use like purchase with Apple, then those apps have that 30% fee, right? Now, though, once this is finalized, basically like on the web app or on the app on your phone, it can basically divert it and just purchase the gems or purchase OMI. It'll divert you to the web app and you can still do it on your phone. So I think that's coming sometime this year.
Have you heard of what Eddie Brown was talking about? New ruling judge stated they are securities on a secondary market.
I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard that case.
Yeah.
It was a default judgment. Not sure.
Can you post what lawsuit that was? I'll dig into that because that is.
That would be a concern. Hopefully, that's at a lower court can get overturned.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't because depending on where that was, like what level of the court that was, but that definitely like runs contradictory to that judgment that happened in a much bigger lawsuit there. That'd be very interesting. So I mean, like, look, I'm open to. There's still a lack of, and that's the thing when people are like, why doesn't David talk about the token? There still really is a lot of like lack of regulatory clarity on some of the things. What I can say, what I can't say. If I start doing this, does it enter into the realm of it now being considered a security? Because I'm talking about utility, which could be inferred that this is going to make the price go up. Like there's a lot there.
Yeah. So, on Mo Collections' comment and also Matthew's earlier, I think at the top of the bull run, OMI goes to 30 cents.
Yeah, I was about to say, we've done press predictions so many times. I'd love to know yours. So you said 30 cents, Bill? Is that your
30 cents
bull, or is that your like?
I think at the top of the excitement, it's going to go to 30.
And what about your lowest? What's the lowest you think it would do as a
maybe 20.
20. Cool. 20 to 30 cents. Let's go.
Yeah, I think, but at that point, so many people will have sold so much of what they already had. And that, like, I think my first sell point will be at 5 cents. I'm not selling before then. Awesome. So then I'll sell at like 5, maybe 10, 15, 20. And if it doesn't go there, then I'm just going to wait. I don't know. I'll sell at least 5 and make really good money on it.
We could.
But why sell early? Why sell at a penny? I don't know. I'm here to make real serious gains.
Let's do it. Laurie, do you have a price prediction for OMI?
$15.
Oh, I'm gonna say 3 cents. That's my prediction. How about that?
That's what I predicted too. 3 to 5 cents.
3 cents.
At minimum for this year.
At a minimum.
This year?
Yeah.
Are you saying it? What about the top though?
If it's the start of next year and everything goes wild, then maybe like 10 cents. Because you got to do the
Mo Collections.
Well.
Mo Collections brought up Disney Epic Games equals VeVe. Yeah. I think when all that actually comes out and there's a connection there, people are going to go insane.
You go. OMI says, nice to put a face to the name, Bill. Woo! Yeah, look, I really hope you guys are all right and we get 30-cent OMI because that would be like absolutely insane. I think I'd be at, I don't know, very, very large numbers. 30.
That is financial advice for me.
Yeah, like $30 million or something. So I'm cool with that. So $5 OMI is programmed.
$10 OMI. Screw
Mark,
it.
we got to get you back on here. I haven't had you on for a while now. Let's go, Mark. me try and get Mark locked into the show.
I mean, seriously though, if they announce VeVe is connected with Epic and Disney, we could honestly see $1. It could go insane. Look at Pepe right now. Pepe is ridiculous. There's like 400 trillion coins, and it's pumping like 500% in a week or 500.
Yeah, well, just think about Dogecoin last cycle. Doge hit what 80? Was it around 60 to 80 billion or something like that? It went nuts.
Yeah.
And this cycle, the market's going to be much bigger, right? The total market cap is going to be 8 trillion, 10 trillion, something like that. It's going to be there's going to be a lot more liquidity. And if we have absolutely everything running perfectly and all these people talking about VeVe, Omi, and it becomes like a household name, we get millions of users, then yes.
Right.
I think it's possible can go insane.
Yeah. And I think the key for me is, you have to have a way, to purchase it. That is, easy. To me, that's a bit of a barrier, if you will. And, I also think that the other issue holding them back right now is just exposure. And Rain said it right. It's not necessarily like David can go out and do this. Something's got to catch. Somehow it has to get in the vernacular. And, I don't know if it's this time. And, Bill, you mentioned like if they were in with VeVe or Disney and VeVe were in bed together and, all that played out. Is that going to come out, during this bull run, or you're going to be able to easily purchase it as someone just,
if they want it to, yes.
I just don't feel that's been I just don't feel that's something that they've done yet. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's by design or not.
I think it is, yeah.
But the marketing has not been there yet, to that next level. So, maybe Rain's right. We're waiting for a minute where something else turns the faucet on.
Tinfoil hat.
External sources.
I think these corporations are all in cahoots together, and they're all just waiting for the right opportunity to turn that faucet on.
I hope.
Will they do it this run? I certainly hope so. But I think they will do it all at once, and then it will be a firestorm along with the AR, VR narrative and gaming, and it's all going to pump all at once. Because
we definitely need
why is there so much secrecy? I mean, why the NDAs? Why
are you invited? Are you invited to the VeVe?
Everywhere.
Bill, are you invited?
What's that?
Are you invited to the VeVe? Did you get an invite?
No, I wasn't invited. I'm not cool enough.
No good. No one on the panel is invited, right?
Actually, I am invited, and Epic Games is part of it. I just broke my NDA.
No!
They're gonna come to your house and get you.
We're going to the moon.
Oh my god!
No, you wouldn't do that because I used to work for a domain administration company where we handled millions of domains like .coms and everything. And whenever there was like a Disney or Marvel or anything like that, even close to it, we would just give off that domain straight away. It would either delete it or we'd drop the domain, or we'd give it back to them. We had their lawyers always emailing us and like, you've got this domain and you got to be super careful with Disney because they got such they really go after their IP like crazy, even for domains, right?
So wait a minute. I have DisneyQueen.eth. Are you telling me I'm in some trouble with that?
What is it?
I do. I'm being dead serious.
What is it? What do you have?
DisneyQueen.eth.
You would, but because it's .eth and it's on the Ethereum network, no one can touch that. There's not even, because it's decentralized, there's not even a governing body that can stop that from happening.
There you go.
Like with normal domains. So you could be in trouble, but they can't really do anything about it. You probably shouldn't have given yourself away, but you'll be fine.
I don't care. You could actually send me money there. QueenVeVe.eth.
Everyone send Laurie some money.
Another thing is, notice the release of what's that big game we all used to play back in the day?
World of Warcraft.
The gangster one.
Grand Theft Auto.
Look at their release date. It's in 2025, isn't it? And they put how many billions into their game? I have a feeling they're probably going to release on a crypto-based platform too, and you'll be able to own land within Grand Theft Auto, and
that would be.
I think it's all going to be one narrative all at once. Just my opinion.
I like that conspiracy theory that like all these giant companies have got together in the background. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, let's release a giant metaverse
Yeah.
that connects all the worlds together.
100%. Yeah.
I don't know, but there is a standard though, right?
Well,
There's a metaverse standard. Isn't Mark Zuckerberg at Meta set up a metaverse standard protocol that
He's
a lot of
trying
people...
to control the standards, right?
Yeah.
So kind of like Apple has the Apple Store and essentially has a lot of control with that.
Yeah.
He's trying to control the standards. Yeah. That's
And I
what
think
the
we'll all
fight
be
is about.
connected.
The fight for the future. I know that I do not want Facebook controlling the infrastructure of the future. That's for sure. I
Right.
trust Facebook about as far as I can throw them, and since there's nothing to grab onto, I can't throw it. So,
Well, I mean, do we
I don't
trust
trust it.
Disney? I mean, let's be honest. You know,
no.
Disney's just in the same ballpark, and so is every other platform. You know,
Wow.
that's kind of scary.
Yeah. I thought that comment by Omicron
Oh, that
was
is so
hilarious.
good. I mean, he's a Jesse Pinkman of coins. You can beat the crap
it's
out of it,
dying.
and it always survives. Something to be said for that. It's true. Like Omi's gone through the ringer a few times, right?
Yeah,
Just
like
keep going.
there was a commenter on Doctor of Stuff stream last night, and he was like, "Omi's not even going to 3x this run." And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, in any bull run, every coin is going to pump, and it could be complete garbage. It doesn't have to have anything behind it. And people are just going to buy whatever they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
In the crypto space, everyone has a voice, but that doesn't mean they have something worth saying.
Right.
And some people don't know that, right? They think because they feel that way, that's how it's going to play out.
And I'm over there like,
and your emotions have nothing to do with what's going to happen.
But
So,
I'm hoping Omi doesn't just do
Like you
that,
said, what?
right? Right? Like
if it
Omi-
only does 3x, oh my gosh, that would be an epic failure. But that's
Yeah.
impossible.
Right.
It's not impossible. It's completely improbable. So it only doing a 3x is about as likely as Bitcoin hitting 69,000 and then dropping to 19,000. It could happen. It's just completely improbable.
yeah,
My collectibles in the
Hey.
house.
he's great.
What's up, MC? Yeah, he is great, man. Shout out to my collectibles. He does he does so many videos. I don't know how you guys do it. I've been trying to get on just like one a week, like Thursday nights, and like I just can't get it together. Like there's just so much going on, and so shout out to the people who are just constantly just working their tails off. I mean, I know Rain, you do this full time. But man, yeah. Anyways, love it. My collectibles is great.
Well, Doc, you've been doing a good job, man. You've been coming on this show like almost every week as well. So like, thanks
Yeah,
for that
whenever
as
I
well.
can, right? And my daughter with her gymnastics is what's happened is she has it on Monday nights now. And so like anytime I can, even if I can sneak on for like an hour or something, like I love to do that. I love this stream. I love the people who come on here. I mean, it's great to chat about that stuff. And Bill, that stream, like, you know, I would talk quite a bit and then I'd try to read the comments. There's just so much infighting about like the price of like
Yeah, it was
the
ridiculous.
opinions there. Like
I gotta watch
like
the
you said,
stream.
it's these feelings where they're frustrated, and so then they're just like, well, it can't do this. And I was like, and I said, hey, because what they were like, hey, Omi and VeVe are rug pulls, and I was like,
Oh,
Right.
please
like,
provide
show me the
support.
evidence.
Please provide support, because look, this is my logic the whole time. I am open to the possibility that I'm wrong on something. I always have to be that, right? But I'm like, but you need to provide support for those statements, and it's not like I feel like it is, right? And I'm like, you just had Marvel, who's re-upped South by Southwest. There's this epic announcement that's coming between VeVe and Marvel, and these guys, these big IPs, they do massive due diligence, like massive due diligence, and people don't even understand, like, what that really means. But it is just like discussions, like contracts. I mean, so much stuff. If you thought that Marvel would want to be associated with a rug pull after all of that due diligence, like, I can't help you. Like,
And then he started talking smack about Randy, and I'm like, hold on a second.
Oh,
here.
see, I didn't see
Like,
that.
we were
I
cool
would
until
have
that happened.
muted. I would have muted. See, and that was the thing is like, I was trying to get through all those points. I tried to keep it like shorter. I wanted to only go an hour. It went to like an hour and 50 minutes, you know, with all that stuff. There's a lot to cover on that interview. And it like, yeah, I mean, it's all out there in the video. And I tried to just be completely take the emotion out of it.
Were you talking at Meta Mono as well? Was that on?
Yeah. That
he
interview, the round table that was because people
It
were
was
like,
awful.
yeah, David
Awful.
got hard questions and he should be able to answer those, which I agree with that. But like, again, it was just like all these hard questions on David, and then like, yeah, Will, I love your project, or like, I mean,
Yeah,
it was just
it
like
was.
these
It was
softballs.
not. It was
Yeah,
not.
I mean,
And then
it
her
was
like
comment
an
later.
agenda. Yeah.
What's
Her
that?
comment later that she doesn't even own anything on VeVe, and I'm like,
Yes.
what?
That's
Yeah.
okay though, but that's okay. Like she didn't own it on
Or
anything, and
or
I
any
like
of the
her
other
perspective.
platforms. I'm like,
Right. So
you're
but
not
you
part of
can
this
be-
community then.
Well,
But
but
she said she did her research too, right? You'd have to buy something to do your research, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
that's my
doing
thing.
her
The was
research-
not there, and I picked
Yeah.
that apart. Right, multiple
Listening
points
to
were like,
Cavell
no
Anderson's
research.
YouTube videos does not count as doing your research on VeVe.
I'm sorry, who's Cavell?
Yeah, somebody that name popped up. I don't know why. Something in the past about that. But yeah, so her research was not very deep, and people in the community got frustrated about that because she
You're a
asked
legend.
questions that were like not completely relevant for somebody who had done their research on VeVe. And it's like, okay, I get not being able to dig in super deep on projects because sometimes when I'm looking at something, I have not gone as deep as I would like to. Someone in the community, but that can be frustrating to a community member too, because some of the questions she asked came across as dumb because it's like if you had done your research, you wouldn't have asked the question that way. And
Well, it
the
reminded me
hard
of
balls
like
to
a
David was cool.
Yeah.
It was good to see David get some hard balls because a lot of times we don't ask him really difficult questions. It just then was one-sided, right? And that's what I think rightly then frustrated people because
it was. And Will was
maybe
like,
it was one-sided because Omi has such a massive lead, or maybe it was one-sided because emotionally people are just frustrated, but that's just an emotion. Logically, everything is going effing amazing for VeVe Omi. Really, it's going amazing. Even though it doesn't feel like that, it's because the bear market doesn't make you feel like that. It's okay. It is on track to do amazing things, and no other company is close. Yeah. Flow is the closest to it, right? Dapper Labs is the closest. Nobody else is even close.
And I thought she was part of the community personally. I didn't know.
And I like Omi, like VeVe better. Like digital collectibles will hit the narrative and people will see like VeVe go crazy. VeVe's also notice like there's little bits and pieces about David trying to reach out and get things going in Asia. If that comes together, good night. I mean, our price predictions will seem stupid
when that comes together.
Like, by the way, my price prediction is $100 billion market cap with Omi. I'd say there's at least a 70% chance it hits that. That would put Omi at like 40 cents.
Yeah.
And I'm going to love it when it happens. I'm going to record a special video about that. And it will be like, F you to everyone who fought me on that. And it's like, you said it'd never break like 3 cents and look at where we are. And it's like, that's okay. You're just uneducated.
Yeah.
I was once new too. But when you're brand new, at least realize that you don't know very much. Like instead of arguing with people that have been around for a long time, maybe just listen for a little bit. Like, you know, I didn't know when I was brand new either, but I definitely didn't try to argue with somebody who had been around for 7 years and had become a multimillionaire through this specific thing. Arguing with them, I would have just shut up and listened. I would have loved to have more people like that to listen to when I was new. The truth is, when I was new, it was the blind leading the blind. Everyone was blind, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing is like my biggest thing, because people were like, well, you don't have a lot of time to do research. I was like, that's fair. This is your second interview with David. And when you were like, I don't know, I can't tell what the vision for VeVe is. That's where I was that's where I understand where people felt like there was an agenda there, right? Because it was
definitely
like, what are you talking about? And I don't think, I don't know. I don't think that there was an agenda, but like, I maybe, but like, those are the types of things where I'm like, I get why people were upset because then it did come across as an attack on VeVe. And like, there was like this question about tokens and, you know, if you don't have a token and it was like, so you have to fungible token and non-fungible token. If you don't have a fungible token, how can you have ownership? And I was like, I did like that question doesn't even make sense. Yeah. And then Jason right here talks about the physical and like how important that is. And it was like, if you had literally just typed in Phygital VeVe, physical product, or anything like that, right? Like you would get hits on that.
They've done like
So-
5, right? They've done quite a few.
They've done a
quite-
lot, and Mr. MC1 like listed, and there's a lot more than 5. Like it's an awesome tweet that he breaks it all down there. And so when you're saying you've had 3 days, like that type of search that's 30-second search, and that's
Yes, you can do any
where
research. Yeah.
unfortunately you have to call into question. It was like, well, what were you really doing in those 3 days? Because I got questions, and that's kind of what I addressed in that video.
Doctor
So-
stuff. Someone,
so
I can't remember who it was.
Omicron-
Someone did, yeah, go for it, Bill. I was gonna say someone did research and they found
Omicron
out that
made a really good point about what I was talking about earlier. If you want to pull that up, so
this one.
selling those collectibles for Omi if you can do that once it's already pumped, then it's like your Omi just 10x again. You know what I mean? So like that Black Panther that went to what, $700-800, and then you sell that directly to Omi. I mean, your gains are tremendous when you bought that thing for $15.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
so
I mean, I think his example is if the NFT Marty can do a 50x, Omi can as well.
yeah, because you'll be that much ahead of your Omi at getting it for $15, and then it's going to continue to go up. You know, whereas the Panther, just the Black Panther, just reached its limit. So then you have substantial gains on top of it, where your Black Panther could not have gone.
I just want to quickly address this one. What's your response about not being on any other exchanges? If Omi is on BitGet, people compare it to Bitforex. Look, BitGet's not even as good as Bitforex in a way because it's not a US exchange. No one US can use BitGet,
Yeah.
so it does
Yeah.
not help at all with the whole US needing access. So we definitely do need exchanges, especially for US right now. Like that's a need, unless they can get you to be able to buy Omi inside the web app.
That's the problem solver.
That would sort of solve that problem, but it'd still be layer 2, not layer 1.
I told Foster too in a message. I was like, look, like I'm sitting on cash, and that cash is going other places because I can't buy Omi right now, and I live in America, and
Yes,
I don't want it to go to other places, but that's what's going to happen because I can't buy Omi anywhere else. So open it up on the app, and then I'll buy a ton of it.
Hey, Rain, you're going to see this. You remind me so much of Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad, but replace Crystal
I've had
with
a couple of people tell me that. You know, he's pretty good looking, so that does make sense. He's also very humble, so it also makes further sense. Thank you. That was nice of him. Mark Hume's comment: Mona is Paul Barron's wife, confirmed. What's funny is I do look forward to the video too I'm going to make about Paul Barron being wrong. And I get a little bit frustrated because in crypto, like it's all about just playing the odds and stacking the odds in your favor. And so Paul Barron releasing a video on Omi about is Omi dead at the bottom frustrates me because it's actually, that's when the chances of you doing well on Omi is the very best, is that prices are low. There was no reason to believe that it was dead. And so he's actually scaring people out at the very bottom. And that frustrates the economic side of me and the psychology of people behavior part tremendously, because it's like leading the sheep to the slaughter. And I get really pissy about that kind of stuff. When I see somebody leading brand new people to the slaughter, I get really defensive. And that's when you see my claws come out, and you might have seen it a few times. That's when it comes out, because I just have zero tolerance for that. There's like something has a 90% chance of paying out. Like say you go in a casino and you know that the odds on that machine now are 90%, and you push someone away from that towards like something else that has like a 10% chance of winning. That's what I feel like they're doing. So Omi at that price was like a heck of a deal. There was no reason to believe they wouldn't survive. Things were like the FUD was an all-time high. I get that. Sentiment was all-time lows. That's when the best deals happen. That's exactly what it looks like to buy massively undervalued. And then to use that platform to push people out of it, I was just like, ooh, I will not forget that. And so when I see stuff like that, it's like, I don't forget. You know, we had an argument a while back about Bitcoin or Omi hitting $100 billion market cap and whether it could. I look forward to that video too, because I think the chances of it are much higher than most people who are new to crypto realize. Should it ever hit $100 billion market cap? Probably not. Does that mean it won't? Actually, the chances are quite high that it will. The way it's coming together, the psychology of how people behave when they realize that digital collectibles are the future rather than physical collectibles, you will see a lot of emotional behavior, a lot of FOMO, and that will coalesce way more than people realize is going to happen, because they aren't wrong in that it shouldn't happen, but they're conflating that with it won't, and that's not true. And they made the argument that there was only so many projects last cycle that broke over $100 billion market cap. Well, that's a really stupid argument, because every cycle more and more break over that threshold. So he's assuming that like the total amount of projects that hit over $100 billion market cap this next time would only be 5. No, it'll probably be like 40. And I think Ecomi will be one of those. Especially
when Bitcoin, it now has all these ETFs, and Ethereum is going to get some, and who knows what else will get one.
Solana, Cardano, I think there'll be a few of them.
So one thing that I think is important, I just want to address here, and I think that this is where some of those people, Rain, that kind of push back on that, right, is, and they're trying to protect people who are new in this space, and I get that, because I remember being new in this space, right? And I've given this example already of a big crypto influencer who had a massive following, talked about this NFT project, right? And I FOMO'd in, and like, when you talk about this in your mind, though, you're also not being like, I am not selling any of my bags until it reaches this, right? But there's new people who will be like, well, Rain said it could hit this, so I'm not going to sell, and that's not what Rain is saying, right? Like, and that's. We tried to also inform, and that's where I think some of their pushback is. They're concerned that people will then hold on to their bags until they think it's going to hit that. And it's like, well, we constantly talk about, look, there's different price targets. As OMI goes up in price, I'm selling a percentage of my portfolio to lock in those gains, right? So I will have a moon bag, and this isn't just with OMI, but I'll have it in a lot of different projects where like it's a moon bag. And I'm like, if it just goes crazy, if it does something it shouldn't do, I can still get exposure to that without then seeing that start to pump and get FOMO and buying in, which I did when I was new, buying in as the price has already pumped significantly because I want to get exposure to that pump, So I think like I get why they've done that, but then like you said, like I lean towards the person like you, Rain, who has made multiple. I think it's easier in the pre-bull run to make like a 10 to 15x call. Right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be much more difficult to do the 50 to 100 to 500x calls. And who's done that multiple times is you. And so I'm going to give credence, or at least put some weight on what you're saying and take that into consideration. And so for someone to just basically be like, that's out of the question. Okay. I disagree with that. Right. And I do put more weight on someone who's been through these cycles. And leaving that open as a possibility, but also not banking on that and holding my bags until then. So I just think that's very important for people to take into consideration, have price targets to sell as it goes up on anything that you have.
Absolutely. Because I won't wait till that full like $100 billion market cap to be selling some. That's putting too much of your eggs in one basket. What if it hits just shy of that, never hits that, and then you never sell, and then it retraces on you, and it got like 1 million short of that. And so it never hit your sell if you're waiting to sell all your bags then. That's not smart profit taking. And that's a great point that you bring up. Some people shouldn't wait till that higher number because you don't know for sure where the top is.
Mm-hmm. The other thing you can consider as well, sometimes you can sell on the way up, but you can also wait for a top, and you can sell on the way down. Because I've noticed almost all the time when crypto drops on the way down, even when it drops, it usually goes through a few little dead cat bounces along the way, and it usually doesn't drop straight down unless it's a rug pull. The only time it drops straight down is a rug pull. Otherwise, it goes down and it goes up a little and it goes down. It just slowly trickles, and you've actually got a lot of time to sell on the way down. Generally speaking, if it's not a rug pull or FTX collapse or something like that. I did want to bring up this one. You guys have probably all seen this on Twitter. There's a guy who lost, I think it was like 100. He lost 40 million OMI on the Bitforex, and then he had 180 million in his MetaMask that apparently got hacked. Now, look, the only way to get hacked on MetaMask is by accepting transactions in MetaMask when you're on other websites. So when you're on that website and it asks, do you want to allow this thing to access it? You just got to say no, or just don't go on dodgy websites.
Well,
It's
so
not that difficult to do.
hold on. And I think this is really important. Like one of my buddies. So what happened is, because we always talk about going on official channels and doing these things, right? So actually, shout out to Spencer from Comics and Crypto. He talked to me about this web-based extension called Fire. And basically what it does is, as I'm doing a transaction, as I'm about to initiate it, a little window pops up and it says, this is what the smart contract is actually going to do, right? And it's like you're giving access to all this stuff. So he had one of those extensions. It wasn't the Fire extension, but with some of our VC raises, it's like first come, first serve. And so if that window's popping up and you can't do things, it can slow it down. So he had shut that off. And what happened is, one of our projects kind of seemed like it was dead. They came back and they're like, hey, we're converting the tokens over. We're rebranding and things. So we went to the official website, the official Discord site or link on the Twitter, and basically in the Discord, I didn't know this could happen, but Discord links can expire. And a hacker had identified that, taken that official link and reformatted it right to his hacking link, right? And basically created a Discord that looked exactly like the old Discord.
That's what they do.
And then as it went up, it was like, hey, we need to verify who you are, right? And he was like, oh, that's kind of like weird. But again, like he thought he was on the right site. And so then he gave permission, and then another permission popped up, and it was like, hey, you need to approve it for Binance Smart Chain as well. And he was like, like that was what triggered it. And he's like, oh no. And he looked, and like $8,000 of one of his tokens was like gone. And he just like hurried and transferred as much as possible. But I just want to point out, like, hackers are getting more and more sophisticated, and like to hold that much on a hot wallet is inadvisable, right? The crypto hygiene would be to put the majority of your tokens on a cold storage wallet.
Yeah.
And then you can have a hot wallet. But what I do also is, like, I have like a hot wallet, and I call it my DGen wallet. And the majority of things that I try to interact with, I will send funds to that DGen wallet, and I'll only interact with that on any website or anything that I'm approving. And if it's asking me, like, on any of those serious wallets, I'm like, no, I'm not approving anything.
I was about to say that. It's great. You make a new wallet. Yeah, a new wallet just for risky things. If you're going to connect to random websites, make sure it's a wallet that has almost nothing in it, and you just transfer exactly what it is you want to move around in there. Another thing is, if you have something like a ledger, you can actually hook up your ledger so it's hooked up in MetaMask as well. So you've got a ledger, you've got all your crypto in the ledger, but it's also usable in MetaMask, and then you have to approve it every time you do a transaction. So no one can take anything out of it. Pardon?
So I keep mine on a BC vault. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but
I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of that.
It's it's like the holds thousands.
I think you told me about it, Bill. I think you told me about it.
And they actually put one Bitcoin on there. It's always on there, and if you can hack it, it's yours.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge for hackers. And so when you open up your BC vault, that one Bitcoin is on there, even though it's not yours, but it's it's available. And so that's what I use to store a lot of my main stuff. But I keep also I keep it split up in different areas. But on some of these, like even with ADA, on these extensions, people send you all kinds of airdrop things that sit in your wallets. And if you click on that, and you can't do anything with it, you have to just say, I can never click on this.
Yeah. Look at Mark's comment. Bring that up there. Because Bill, what you're saying too. So they'll drop NFTs. I have a ton of NFTs in there. And like what they've been able to do with NFTs, which has been fascinating sometimes, they'll make it look like the NFT is actually like is valuable. Like that there's like a floor or something that looks pretty enticing. People are like, oh, I just got airdropped this, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to sell it, and it's initiating a smart contract that basically allows the hacker access and approvals for them to transfer funds out of there, right?
Yep.
And so, basically I put that in like the hide, but like now I'm even afraid to put hide on there, where I just am like, if there is something that I have not purchased, I don't touch it.
You just touch it. It's just there though, and it's terrible. And how does new people coming on in this industry? You have to have something like VeVe, because they're going to click that button and they're going to lose everything. And there's always these new scams. I'm in another project I'm in a lot of projects, But I'm in, I believe about diversification, but I'm in a project called Eon Rift. I've told you guys about it a few times. But I was in their Discord and I had one of their guys contact me in a message. Hey, such and such. And he was trying to get in touch with me about buying something on the side. And then immediately I went into Discord. Hey, is this you? He goes, absolutely not. And if you look at the name, it was so close that unless you contacted in the main page, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
And so you always got to double check everything in this industry because they will take everything from you. They do that.
There's hacker farms, right? Where it's like a legitimate, I mean, like it's a business that people pay and they teach these people how to and they're everywhere. And that's their full-time job is to try to do these things and steal that money. Right. And like, look, no one should be DMing you on Discord that you don't already know. Unless
or even on X.
And they're saying, hey, there's a reason for them too. But I just turned off the DMs. I've just
emailed as well. Look, Richard here.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there are so many girls in their underwear that want to DM me on X. I don't get it. I'm so popular. They just want to talk to me. And just every platform they want to scam you out of everything.
They're not always wearing all their clothing.
Right. Crazy.
Anyway, we've got to wrap this up because actually I just realized it's gone for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Guys.
All night. Let's go.
Have we hit all-time hhigh Bitcoin? Let's quickly check.
Oh geez, yeah. I kind of stopped checking. I don't think so. I think we would have.
$68,130 of mine.
But I think that this week it happens.
Definitely. Did you see Altcoin Daily put out like a tweet? We will delete our account if Bitcoin doesn't reach its all-time high. I mean, it's a bit late for that call because it's only like 1,000 away, but still, they're confident. All right. Well, thanks for coming, guys. Can everyone maybe go around and just say your parting words to the people that are watching, and what do you, Bill? What advice would you give to some people that are holding into the bull run now?
Obviously, keep your crypto on cold storage, whatever you believe in. The best products you can get. Yeah, it costs money to send it there, but it's going to cost you a lot more if you don't. And diversify. Ecomi is a great project, but you can't put everything in one basket. I mean, I know Randy did, but he was also in Earth 2. He has a substantial amount of money in Earth 2. So
true. Yeah.
Don't think that he's just only on Ecomi. And
I think he probably has some bump and some Definity. I know he's got some.
He has a mega city in Earth 2. It's one of the largest that are there. So he doesn't even need to be in VeVe. In Earth 2, he will be a multimillionaire without VeVe. Awesome. But so I'm just saying, just diversify and know what you're buying. Don't just moon into everything, unless it's Pepe or Omi.
Love it. Queen VeVe? You're muted. Queen VeVe, you're muted.
Okay. My cat was meowing. I didn't want to bother you. So I'm going to tell the people that if you are on a rocket ship, enjoy the ride. But don't forget what the doctor said. And remember to take profits whenever you feel you're ready to take them, whatever it makes you happy, and then don't look back, because that's going to kill you. Because I think Rain kind of nailed it when he said whenever you decide to take it out, it's probably going to go up 200%, and that could happen. So set a target when you're ready, when you feel good about your investment, take some profit, and like I said, enjoy the ride, because it's getting good now. Right?
Yeah.
It is.
It's getting good now.
Doc, you muted as well.
I might be dating myself here, but for anyone who remembers that More Cowbell sketch from Saturday Night Live, right? And I'm just like, I got a fever, and the only prescription is more Omi. You know, like I want to put a little blip with that, right, with the cowbell and like the dun 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 dun, dun. And every time I hit the cowbell, there's just like a red O that just like comes from the cowbell or something like that. You know?
Yes.
Dr. Stuff, I've heard that a million times because in the Tesla,
Get it.
when you triple hit the stalk to do autopilot, it'll go into
Mhm.
rainbow road mode, and it does that scene from Saturday Night Live. I need more cowbells.
Yeah,
And
dude.
it just keeps like playing that
Man,
music.
the Oyster Cult, like that was so epic. So, but anyways, no, like I take a step back. I just like when Queen was like what the doctor said, and I was like, oh yeah, like what doctor? Who's she talking about? oh, me,
Doctor.
because I'm not a real doctor, right? And so,
Yeah, he
but
is.
anyways, yeah, I just want to say, I really hope that you take your crypto hygiene extremely serious because there are people who are out to get your bags any way, shape, or form, and it is every time like I hear that, it makes me sick to my stomach when people lose that, right? And my really close friend that just recently happened to. So please do that. But again, we all have our opinions, and that's all they are is our opinions. But own your decisions, and the best way to do that is sure you can listen. Your part of your research can be listening to different opinions, right? And reading on that, and then make your own decision, right? And say, you know, like again, like I tease Danny Bull all the time, like with that whole thing about where I think Omi can go, right? And we completely disagree. And I love that he's just like, this is what I feel, and that's the beauty of this space. But I promise you, the quicker that you take ownership for any actions, if a token goes down, if there aren't enough exchanges or an exchange goes down, and you had money on that exchange, like the best lesson that you can learn is to say, I need to take ownership because I had that. I had the chance. I was told, or maybe you weren't told, right? And and that sucks. And I feel for those people. And you can learn from this and grow, or you can be bitter and really miss out on what I think is coming this time, right? So and the last thing I just want to shout out this community. Look, this is what's incredible about this community. Here's this live stream, and you had other YouTubers, right? Like My Collectibles, NFT Pirates. Like there's so many people who come out here. Like Randy will come on my streams all the time and just comment and stuff. And I'm on their streams and doing these things. Like this community is so phenomenal. So please come to one of the real life events if you can make it happen this year, because I do think that there's a lot coming, and just being in that vibe, like and meeting people in real life, it will be incredible. So that's my advice, is try to make it to one of the in real life events. And I think that you'll be even more bullish on VeVe and Omi, and just getting that collector experience in real life will also be part of it. So.
He's on here.
So I just like to think of this all as an investor, and not everyone here is for the investor side. And when you do the right things in this market, the financial rewards can be extreme, like you can't even believe. But you can be in this market. I know someone who's been here since 2016, and they have very little to show for it. They're even the one that got me into the Ecomi pre-sale. You know how much money they made from being in the Ecomi pre-sale? Not very much. They even got an extra 10% because they charge a 10% pool fee, and they raised like $700,000. And so that means they would have got $70,000 that they could have put into the Ecomi pre-sale. And they haven't meaningfully made that much in the crypto space. Why? Because they're not doing the right thing. So don't think that just by being here, you're going to make great money. That's not the case. By being here and doing the right things is how you're going to make great money. So in other words, you have to learn, if you're here to make money from the investment side, you have to learn how to think like an investor. And then you'll start doing the right things, because it's doing the right things that leads you to amazing returns. If were selling when Paul Barron was saying Omi's dead, well, you're doing the wrong things. And Paul Barron is feeding into that, which is why I get really prissy when people feed or do that kind of thing, because they're actually teaching people exactly the wrong things to do in the crypto space. I like to buy when things are very cheap. I don't then jump into them after they've gone 15 or 20x. Yeah. That's something a lot of new people do in the crypto space, and they wonder why that doesn't go well for them. So I like to buy when it's low and cheap and boring, and everyone like Paul Barron is fudding on them. And then later when it goes crazy, and you guys will see, this will go crazy. We just entered phase 2 of a bull run. Now, I've studied market cycles for 18 years before being in crypto. So I'm not new to market cycles. I was new to the crypto market cycle, which is just under 4 years. And the volatility is extreme, which is why there's so much money here. But if you look back, Crypto has had a 4-year market cycle since 2013, 2017, 2021. And now I think it's going to come later 2024. And you're going to see that it's going to play out crazy. So we just entered phase 2 of the bull market. We're already in the bull market. You have not seen the craziness yet, and it will come. And some people say, Rain, how do you know this will happen? Well, can't say I know. We could be in nuclear war tomorrow and all dead the next day. I don't know that it'll happen, but it's as predictable as anything we've ever seen in history, perhaps even more predictable than anything we have ever seen in history. So I'm just playing those odds. So far, playing those odds has worked out really, really well for me. I expect it probably will continue to be so. And I'm just sharing with people how to understand kind of the cycles that we've gone through and what the patterns are and how to take bets that are stacked in your favor. There is no like, I know this is going to happen. Like, will OMI hit $100 million market cap? I'd say it's a 70% chance. That's not a 100% chance, but I'd say the odds are really, really good that it hits $100 billion market cap. And a lot of people disagree. Cool. We'll see who's right on that. And I think it'll be this cycle. I'm not saying even next cycle, like this cycle. But the run on digital collectibles has not happened. And you will see how crazy it gets. And a lot of people just don't understand that. They have this thing called recency bias, that they assume that how it has been is how it's going to continue to be. And they couldn't be more wrong on that, because what will happen is it will flip the other way and it will go 50x, and people will just be buying for the first time there. And they will assume that because it went 50x already, it's going to do another 50x. Now, they'll be wrong on that assumption, but that is the assumption they're going to make. And they're going to push it to levels it should never hit, but it will. And so I still give it a 70% chance it hits 40 cents or higher.
Wow.
We'll see how that plays out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate all of your time for coming on here, especially Bill for making your first appearance on Around the EcomiVerse.
Thanks for having
Great
us.
to have you on. We saw a ton of great comments from people that are really happy to put like a name to a face. And yeah, just really appreciate all of your time for coming in here. We spent 2 hours today, guys. It was a really good stream.
It's awesome.
Absolutely crazy. Bitcoin almost his all-time high. It's $1,000 away. That's it. Just one. It's very, very close. So yeah, really, really happy with the stream today. Make sure you stay tuned. Go and like everyone's channel here. Subscribe. And we'll see you next week.
See you.
See you guys.
See you guys.